Hi, welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. Don here. I want to talk about a recent book that I listened to. It's called Ask from Ryan Levesque. If you like marketing, might be a good read for you. My kind of method or my habit is I have two books I purchase on Audible every month, and so it makes me read two books. A couple of tips: I do listen to them at either 1.5 or 2 speed, and specifically these marketing intense or like action orientated books. I listen to most of mine in the car, but if I can, like if something that's kind of dense like this, I have to take notes as well. So I tend to listen to it once in the car, and then I'll listen to it another time if I have some time to sit down. So recently I was traveling to Toronto for two things. One was for we had a little church seminar in Ajax, and so I was going there. And then after we took a little family trip, we went to Ottawa, and then we went through Quebec. And I got a parking ticket in Quebec. I couldn't read the signs, and I thought I could park there, but for some reason they said I couldn't park there. And the way they get you, in my opinion, is I think it was like 60 whatever their currency, Canadian. And with the exchange rate, it's a little bit better right now. And so as I was parked there, I saw this ticket, and I was like, oh man, we should have paid $35 for parking. We paid double, and as we get home, I'm more, I just give it away. Yeah, you can do it. Pay the money. My wife is like, no, we have to fight it. We're gonna take a picture. We're gonna fight it. And then as I was reading the fine print on the bill, it says, okay, well, if you fight it, you have to come for a court case in Quebec. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to Quebec for a court case. So I just paid the money. So it was an expensive parking, but Quebec was nice. If you've never been there, there's a lot of touristy things. There's this waterway where the kids can walk over, or there's little I don't know, almost like little bridges. And yeah, it's the lack of parenting in me. I took the kids over it, and my wife, no, you can't do that. They're going to fall in. No one fell in, but we're all alive. We had a nice time. The food was good. I felt like it was another country. We both speak Portuguese, so we tried to speak Portuguese because if you speak English, they like you to. They don't like if you speak English. But anyway, as I digress here, let's go back to this story. What I wanted to share. So I was reading this book from Ryan, The Ask. And the first half of the book, he talks about kind of his whole experience, how he came up on this ask, and then he kind of goes through the process, and he kind of gives it all away and explains how he does this. The gist of it is there's a couple of types of surveys. Basically, he uses surveys, so you can use Google Forms. And the first survey is what we would ask is, what's your biggest foot problem, right? What's your number one foot problem? I liked that. I made my form. I sent it to our social media person, which is my wife, and she said, I don't like that. You should change it. So we switched, what's your biggest, baddest question that you have about your foot? And the way we're going to do this, and I'm going to actually put a link underneath this podcast if you want to. It's like a Google Form link, so you can see ours. Within Google Forms, you can put a little logo in there. We asked one question, and what are we going to do with this? Well, we're going to do two things. And first, it's for market research to see what questions that patients have so we can answer them. And that's the whole idea of Ryan with the book, is you figure out, we kind of know the main problems, but I like to try stuff out, so I'm trying it out. And I'm putting this in the local newspaper. We do a little ad in the newspaper every week. So I'm going to put this question with the QR code, and they're going to reply or not reply. I'll let you know. And then I'm also going to send it out to our email list. Our email list is we haven't been doing a very good job at sending stuff consistently, but I think this would be something good, so I can see what their questions are. And more importantly, we struggle a little bit with these ads, because we're doing ads, and we try to do educational ads, and so this will give us the questions that we can then hound the other doctors for content. That's a kind of a recurring challenge here, is trying to get doctors to produce content. I find the best way to produce content is to just talk. So I get the question, and I just record a little audio, and then have the copywriter or the person that's writing the article just to write it based on that. That's what I find works best. The other doctors, I'm kind of a non-detailed person. How do you say it? In coach, we call it I don't have a high fact finder in me. I'm kind of a quick start, we call it, so I do things quick, and I'm really good at following through with things. And that's something on the Kolbe. If you're not heard, you can go to kolbe.com, KOLBE.com. It's kind of a way how you do things. And so that works for me, is doing things quick like that. And then we're going to take all those answers, and then we can do the next ads for that. So we're trying to get some of these ads built out. So that's how we're going to use the first step, which is that first question. This question doesn't go on your website. The second survey is the one I'm putting on. So if you want to go to drpelto.com, I'm going to commit to you guys. I'm going to get this survey done. I'm going to, next week, I'm going to the AAPPM conference in Lago Mar. I'm doing a couple of talks there. And if you listen to this, it might be after the fact. But I'm going to use that time, because my wife is not going and the kids. And so to set up this, it's basically a quiz. So I'm going to put a kind of a foot question quiz or foot problem quiz. And it's kind of like choose your own adventure. So I'm trying to simplify the website I've talked about before with the whole story brand thing. So basically the main focus is making an appointment, and then if they don't want to make an appointment, the next thing was to take this foot quiz. It's not going to be considered medical knowledge, and all you guys are thinking, oh, is this medical? No, it's not. It's just educational. There's a lot of different quizzes, and so I'm going to make it initially on Google Forms because it's free. I'm not sure how it's going to integrate with the answers, but the whole thing is, it's like and Ryan talks about this in the book, it's a choose your own adventure. So basically you ask, you start with easy ones, male, female, are you a man or a woman? That's the same as male or female. and then you ask other things. So my thought is, and there's going to be different renditions because you can just change the quiz. But how long have you had the symptoms? How painful is it? Have you tried any treatments on your own? And then what do you think it is? If you already know what it is, if not, then is it like in the heel? Is it in the forefoot? Is it in the nail and skin? And I can kind of go through them and show them some pictures with these Google survey or Google form things, and I kind of walk them through it. And the thought is it'll kind of drop them in different buckets. That's what he talks about in his book. And the buckets are they call it it's called the what do they call it? The Russell Brunson talks about this ladder of free information, subscribed, and then like come to see me. So it's going to drop into 3 buckets, not so much based on diagnosis. So based on diagnosis, I'm just going to reuse the videos that I have on different things because I'm going to have to give them some information, right? So I'm going to talk about it, and then I'm going to say, okay, how would you like to learn more? Do you want to just watch a video? Do you want to get my toolkit, which is basically an online community where they can learn about their condition, or do you want to come into the office? So those will be the 3 buckets, and then based on those buckets, where they're going to fall into, then I start to share information or try to sell them things or have them come into the office, because not everyone is ready to come in the office right away. And that's the whole idea with Ryan's book, is that people aren't ready, and we have to kind of follow up with them. And then I'm going to do that email sequence. So if you want to see how my sequence is, you can just go to my website, which is drpelto.com, and then you can kind of take my quiz, go through it, and then I'm at the end of the quiz, I'm going to do a little, like, it's the same video that we always do, right? So it's an initial video, and then how do they want to learn more? The goal in the future, and I've talked to my buddy Larry about this, is then making like a course. And I've tried different things of courses, like plantar fasciitis course that I have right now that's on there. There's going to be, but it's hard to have like individual courses for everything we do. So I'm trying to make like a toolkit, I call it, which is basically, it'll have diagnosis specific information. And you could do that on multiple web pages as well, just to do it that way. But that's a little more complex. This is a little bit easier. And then I can update it, and I can put in videos, I can put in the books, I can put in all these other things inside of there. And I also get all their contact information. And this is the one that, as a value add, I'm gonna try to give it out free for my patients. But if people are like Googling and they're finding me, then I think like they're gonna pay $29 or something like that. That's kind of my initial thought right now. So I will let you know how it goes. If you want to see it, you can go to drpelto.com. If it's not there yet, just be patient, or you can email me and say, "Hey Don, you're not fulfilling your word that you're gonna do this." But if you want to copy it, feel free to copy it. If you have any other questions, let me know. Okay, guys, thanks.